$700 in so-called retention grants.
It would have been about $700 for each worker who stayed on the job. But now the Washington Child Care Centers Association is calling the whole program a, quote, debacle. Fox 13's Brisa Mendez is here with more on this. So, Brisa, what are you learning this afternoon?
Jamie, lots of ways this program made a bad problem worse, as only some of those in the workforce ended up qualifying, forcing child care providers to pay the difference out of their own pocket or return the partial payments entirely, and all because of a single paperwork problem.
We applied for about 31 staff and got 15 approved, so about half. And again, we're facing that same morale issue of it doing exactly the opposite of what it was intended.
Many child care providers across Washington state joined in this YouTube conversation, heartbroken, angry, and frustrated over the confusion DCYF has created during the retention grant application.
The problem here is that when I only have half of my staff getting a bonus and half of them not getting a bonus, it's actually much more demoralizing. And so as an organization, we have to figure out how to scrounge up that extra $10,000.
And all because a little notice box on the application wasn't being checked off.
I've been doing this since Merit was created. I have never, ever had to check the box.
Merit is the state's official directory of certified early learning professionals, and checking the box would let DCYF know the worker was a confirmed current employee. But childcare operators who joined the meeting say they were not aware of how important that box was to getting the grant money through.
Our licensor was on site with us, reviewing Merit with us, never mentioned that to us.
Tanya Martinez is a vice president of operations of Ages and Stages, which has locations around our region. She's used to doing paperwork, but says this process was almost set up to fail.
This grant was intended for the employees, but the employees had no control in whether or not their box was checked or not. And for me, they sent the email emphasizing that they must have been confirmed. So they obviously knew that with as many providers that missed out on some of this, that they weren't clear enough.
Fox 13 reached out to DCYF for an explanation of what went wrong for so many applicants. The agency reply seems to point the finger back at the child care centers. Quote, the requirements to keep staff records up to date in the Professional Workforce Registry Merit is not new, nor is it specific to the Workforce Retention Grant. The process is longstanding, and keeping records up to date is a licensing requirement in law. DCYF points out that it was able to disperse $13 million in retention grants, about $700 per worker who qualified, but for the rest who applied and were rejected, child care centers find themselves in a terrible catch-22.
What we're probably going to end up doing is just not take the funds at all, because I feel if I can't give it to all, I'm not going to give it to any. And unfortunately, we can't afford to give every other person who didn't receive it the $700. So we've lost both ways.
With the grant window now closed, it's unclear whether more workers will get this money. The Washington Association of Child Care Centers is looking to go to lawmakers and the governor for a potential legislative fix in the new session. Reporting in the newsroom, Brisa Mendez, Fox 13 News. Back to studio.
Brisa, thank you.